If a player goes within 100 meters of an active spawn, like I said, it will trigger and appear within 30 seconds. But because it can potentially stay there for 5 minutes after you've left the area, other players can track your movements around the map by following the breadcrumbs of mushrooms, fruit and small stones that you've left behind, even if they're several minutes behind you. This essentially makes every player in DayZ a snail that leaves behind a trail of slime behind them with their 100 meter radius asses, and makes travelling trails very dangerous if someone is in the know and they're a few minutes behind them. They will see stones constantly. For the person leaving the breadcrumbs behind them, there is absolutely no way to avoid this from happening. There are no gyms in DayZ to reduce the size of your 100 meter radius snail looking ass, and these spawns are littered everywhere across the map. There are thousands of them, with forest being the most dense for these spawn points. So the best way to not leave breadcrumbs is to run across open fields, which itself is even more dangerous to do, and mushrooms can spawn in fields too near these hay bales, just not as frequently as forests. For the person doing the tracking, you yourself might trigger the spawning of active spawns should you come within 100 meters of the spawn point, but more players does not mean more items will spawn. One player can spawn as many as 600 players in the same location, so if it's already spawned in, another one won't spawn on top of it if you activate that spawn point too. Now, because we can see items on the ground up to 165 meters away as standard in DayZ, it means that there is a Goldilocks zone for viewing these so-called proximity spawned items that you yourself have not spawned in. For example, if you are 130 meters away from a spawned mushroom that you yourself have not spawned in or been within 100 meters of, there is a player within 100 meters of that mushroom, or there has been a player within 100 meters of that mushroom within the last 5 minutes. But if there are many mushrooms or fruit spawned into one location, it means that there is a camper in that location. If there is a small stone at a spawn point, another small stone won't spawn there, as there is only one place for a small stone to spawn at a small stone spawn point. However, with mushrooms and fruit spawn points, many mushrooms or fruit can spawn at one spawn point instead, unlike small stone spawn points. Now, mushroom and fruit spawn points spawn a new fruit or mushroom every 15 minutes a player is within 100 meters of it, like I said, and will despawn that item 5 minutes after, like I said. But what you might not know is that items cannot despawn if a player is within 100 meters of the item, and that applies to all items in DayZ, essentially ever increasing the number of items at mushroom or fruit spawn points until the player moves 100 meters away from the spawned items. So basically, if there is more than 2 or more fruit or mushrooms very close to each other or at the same spawn point, someone is most likely within 100 meters of that spawn point and has been there for more than 15 minutes, which means that staying in one area for more than 15 minutes will alert other players that you are in the area, giving you a disadvantage over them because they will certainly be on high alert, but you might not be. Now, I'm not the only person that knows this stuff. Many players have known for a very long time now, but after discovering more about this, and it only took me a few hours to do so, I wanted to shine the light on how this all works to get your feedback and how you guys feel about this being in DayZ. Do you believe it needs to be changed? And maybe some of the geniuses out there can give the devs some feedback on how to spawn mushrooms and fruit a little bit better, because I for one believe being betrayed by a couple of mushrooms is a bit too hardcore survival for me. But I don't speak for everybody, so get into the comments and let me know your opinion. Thank you very much.